Hi guys, what's up? Jules here from JulsWellnessWarrior. If you're new to tuning into my channel, a little bit about me. I have lost 50 pounds, gained muscle and strength, and have done it with the help of a GLP-1. I have been on them all: Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, and Zepbound, as well as the compound tirzepatide. And Ozempic and Wegovy are also known as semaglutide. So if you're on any of those, they all are kind of similar. Semaglutide, Ozempic, Wegovy is a singular agonist, meaning that it acts on one hormone, and the tirzepatide or Mounjaro or Zepbound acts on two. So it's called a dual agonist. So the reason why I wanted to go on it was because I was doing everything, working out, cardio, eating right, and I just couldn't budge the weight. The GLP really was the game changer. It gave me a leg up. But I never intended to go on it for the rest of my life. Initially, when I went on it almost 2 years ago, my thought process was I'll go on it and then at some point I'll be able to go off of it, which I think a lot of you go in with that mindset as well. When can I go off, or how do I titrate down, or something of that nature? And that was my thought process as well. So when I hit that 1 year mark or so, a little over a year, and I hit my goal weight last year, I thought, okay, I want to go off of this now. The problem was I was eating such low calories that I was really hungry, even with being on Mounjaro at the time. So I knew that I had to increase my calories. I knew I had to eat differently. And after a lot of studying and watching YouTube videos and doctors and so forth and so on, I decided I was going to try the carnivore diet. What is the carnivore diet? For those of you who don't know, it's meat-only diet. That's it, nothing else. Now, I was eating a lot of vegetables prior to that, so this was something completely different for me. And I really wasn't a huge meat eater, a red meat eater. I did enjoy it, but I just didn't eat a lot of it. And one day I said, hey, this seems like the healthy thing to do, something that will help me to get off of the GLP-1 perhaps. So I started the carnivore diet. Again, it's completely meat only. There's no carbohydrates, zero carbohydrates, no vegetables, no fruits, nothing. So all I was eating was steaks, ribeyes, burgers, eggs, a lot of butter, which I did enjoy. I will confess that I did enjoy eating those things. They did taste really good. I was having things I've never had before. Bacon. Really never ate bacon before. And it was approximately an 80% high-fat diet to about 20% protein. Now, I was still on the GLP at the time. The one thing that I think that was really good with carnivore, it did allow me to increase my calories, and I did increase them a lot. So I ended my journey at about 1,200 calories, and I was able to increase my calories to over 2,000, and I did not gain any weight. I actually lost a couple of pounds. Now, I think that I lost that weight due to losing water weight. For the most part, I don't think it came from anywhere else. I don't think it was body fat weight, quite honestly. The reason why I think that was because when you're eating carbohydrates, for every 1 gram of carb, the body attracts about 3 grams of water. And that water goes into your muscles. So it's not like bloat water, but it does go into your muscles. So when you're eating zero carb, no carbs whatsoever, the water kind of goes out of your muscles and you have kind of more of a flat look to you instead of having that muscular look. So I did lose a few pounds. Again, I think it came from the water that was in the muscle. Now, I stayed on Carnivore. Initially, I enjoyed it, and it was different. And I stayed on it for almost 6 months, so I was just shy of 6 months. The first month or two were fine, good. I felt fine. I felt good. I was extremely disciplined. I adhered to it 100%. Did not stray. I was completely zero carb, meat only throughout the entire day. And I guess that, discipline and learning something different was good. I didn't really see any other benefits at that point. It did make me feel full, so I guess that was a good benefit. I did notice probably around after the first month and a half, my hair wasn't looking so good, but I kind of ignored that. It was starting to break, but I really kind of ignored it. I was bought into the carnivore way of eating, like hook, line, and sinker. I thought it was the way, the only way, and I stayed on it. By about month 2, I started to get some negative symptoms. I started to get really bad reflux, and I had never had reflux in my entire life, ever, until that point. And my heart rate started to be elevated, so I noticed that. I noticed that my sleep wasn't that great. I just wasn't sleeping a lot. I didn't really feel my energy was too far lagging, but I definitely noticed my sleep score was terrible. On my Garmin sleep score, the entire time that I was on Carnivore, I normally was getting upper 70s, low 80s, according to my Garmin score, which is very good. But on the Carnivore, I never got past like a 60, 65. So I definitely was perplexed by that. My heart rate was always elevated, and I always had a low heart rate, so I noticed that as well. And the reflux kept coming, and it was incessant, and it was very bothersome. And I tried everything from apple cider vinegar before my meals, after my meals. I would wake up in the middle of the night. It was really, really bad. But I kept going anyway, because I thought this was it. I thought this was going to be a healthy thing and a great thing and whatnot. Then about 4.5, 5 months in, I had to do lab work. And my lab work came back, and it was not good. My cholesterol, my lipid levels were so elevated. My doctor was very concerned. But I was like, oh no, it's normal. No worries. I mean, I had kind of high cholesterol a little bit before, but it was never like this. I think it was a little bit past 200. Maybe my total cholesterol was maybe 225 or something like that. Now it was like 450. It was really high. My triglycerides were so high. And the other thing was my folate levels were so low, this had never happened before, that my doctor said, I need to put you on a folate supplement. Now, I don't really like taking supplements if I don't have to, or anything that's exogenous, but I said, all right, if I need it, I need it. So started to take the folate supplement, and the reflux was continuing day, night, and it was so uncomfortable. It is awful. If you've ever had it before, you know what it feels like. And to have never had it before, I just didn't know what to do at this point. The other factor was all of a sudden, my rings, which were always loose on me after I lost weight, I could easily get my rings on and off. Like, I thought, no, I'm going to have to resize my rings. That's not a bad thing. All of a sudden, I couldn't get my rings off. I was like swelling up I don't know why, again, but there was something going on. I could see it in my face. I could, in the mornings when I would try to get my rings off, I literally could not even budge them off my fingers. And even when I was at my heaviest, I could always get my rings off. Finally, and then the other thing that was happening, I was starting around month 5. I was really wanting carbohydrates. Like, I really was starting to crave rice, and I just couldn't get that out of my head. And I had been strict the entire time. I did not veer at all. So, and then and the other, I started to actually put weight on a little bit. I mean, not a huge amount, but the scale did start to creep up a few pounds. So wasn't really sure what was going on again, but the bad lipids, really low folate, my hair being really brittle and breaking, the sleep not good, the really bad reflux that was so constant, that was getting to me. I remember I had to go to a work event and I drove to the office. And before I got to the office, I had to stop at the supermarket and get apple cider vinegar to try and do something about the reflux because it was so bad. I went into the store, I bought this apple cider vinegar, and I just kind of guzzled it. And if you've ever had apple cider vinegar straight, it's really pretty gross. It's pretty vile. I really would not want to ever have that again, but it did help a little bit for a few moments, and it definitely helped for the work event. So thank God, because I was having a hard time driving. And I finally got to a point where I said, you know what? I really don't think this is good for me. And I really need to start, I think, incorporating or going back to the way I was eating before, but I needed to eat more because I knew that, again, the calories needed to be higher. So that's what I ended up doing. I reincorporated vegetables back into my diet, and within 24 hours, the reflux was gone, completely gone. Never got it again after that. I have been totally fine, and my hair got better. It took a few months, but my hair did get better. I noticed the quality was better. It's not breaking as much, and the swelling came down. It took about 4 to 6 weeks, I think, for the swelling to come down. But that's when I knew that I was back on the road to being healthier again, because my rings were now coming on and off my fingers. And I was just feeling just better all around. And I started to now eat, complex carbohydrates again. I was eating rice and oatmeal and potatoes and lots of vegetables. I stopped eating all the butter. I stopped eating a lot of the red meat. I do enjoy red meat, but I wasn't eating quite, certainly nowhere near the same. Because on Carnivore, it was all red meat. I didn't really have any chicken. I really didn't have any fish. It was really steaks, ribeyes, butter, eggs, bacon. I have not had any of that. So eggs, yes, I have eggs. Don't have bacon anymore. Maybe it's a treat here or there. But this was an everyday thing. And I personally think that the carnivore way of eating could be good for some people for a short period of time. But for overall health and longevity and all the things that I've been reading about, I do believe that we need vegetables. We need the fiber. We need that for the microbiome in our stomachs. And I think once the microbiome repopulated in my stomach, in my gut, it made me healthier at that point. And I'm not even going to go into the details of some of the other effects that carnivore has on you in terms of bowel movements, because that is a whole nother journey and it's not the most pleasant one either. But I became regular again, let's just say, and I just feel better eating vegetables, eating fruits, eating complex carbs. I'm still high protein, and I did take some lessons from the carnivore way of eating, but it went sideways for me. And I'm just glad that I realized at about that 5 to 6 month time frame that it just was not the right thing for my health. And I think that's really important for you as a takeaway. Whatever way you choose to eat, don't ignore negative symptoms, which I did for a while. I ignored them for a bit, and really take into account what works for you as an individual. What makes you feel good? I've definitely opened up my mindset that the right way to eat is the way that is going to make you feel good, that is going to be healthy for you, the one where you don't feel restricted, and you're going to enjoy it, and you're going to be healthy. Because that's really what this journey is about regaining our health, living a long time, living a happy, healthy, mobile life. There are so many stories that I've heard of people who have been able to drop weight and now are able to walk and climb and do exercise and have so much more energy with whatever way they're eating. So I think the principles should be generally the same, meaning you need the fiber, you need the protein, and you need to be eating a whole foods based diet predominantly, with some fun foods thrown in there for fun and socialization and things like that. But as an individual, really assess, you are the experiments. I experimented on myself. I'm glad I did it. It was a lesson, it was a journey, but this carnivore no longer is a carnivore. I'm back to more of a whole balanced way of eating. If you got anything out of this video, please like, share, subscribe. I would love to have you in my private Facebook group on Juls Wellness Warrior, where we help to support each other in our community. And I hope to see you in my next video. Stay strong.